All right, so we got the 4.8 out. I did get the front cover off of it, the balancer and stuff on it. Got it put on the 5.3. Still got to pull the valve covers off. I got that one off and put on the 5.3, but I haven't pulled this one off yet. I'm kind of working myself in circles here. I keep finding things that I need to fix, and it's just slowing me down. But anyways, got the motor set down in the truck, so that's a plus. Front covers on it, balancers on it. Bell housing bolts are in it and tight. Torque converter bolts are in it and tight. I did get this new header on this side. I feel like since this one routes differently, it's going to cause me problems with fuel lines, which sucks because I wanted to just be able to go back in, bolt everything back up exactly as it came out, and then just keep rolling. Well, that manifold being cracked really screwed me there. I do have that nice ICT billet valley cover that you can't see. I covered it up with my crappy little bracket. But like I said, motor's in it. I went through and replaced the motor mount bolts because they were just grade 5, so I put grade 8 bolts in it. Just trying to sort out some stuff like that. But whenever I took it apart, the old water pump was leaking. So I went just down the street and bought a stock one from O'Reilly's to replace that one. And that was keeping me from getting the front of the motor and stuff put together. But I had to fix a bracket on the intercooler, so I had to pull the intercooler out, get it welded up, and I got it on the truck now. But I did hit it with a little black paint. That way you can't really see it now. Front of this truck is so cool as it is. I didn't want the intercooler standing out, and the intercooler is kind of small. So painting it black will hopefully blend it in there, which you can't see it. But yeah, so there's that. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the intercooler bolted in, start putting the front accessories on the motor. I actually probably need to just go ahead and put the turbo manifold and turbo on, get it bolted up, because these front two bolts are kind of a pain to get to. So I guess that's what I'll do next after I get the intercooler bolted in. We'll go ahead and put this manifold on, try and test fit the crossover pipe. We'll worry about the front drive stuff whenever I get everything else sorted out. But anyways, let's get to it. All right, so we're getting a little bit further with the truck. Just slowly chipping away at trying to bolt pieces on. It's so time consuming, and since we did change a few things, it kind of is not going back together quite like the puzzle that I made it originally. All right, so it's the next day. We're still here messing with the boost knuckle, trying to get the motor buttoned up so we can do a first startup. I did decide that we are just going to change this manifold. I don't like the way it sits back by the fuel lines. Granted, this looks better than, say, like a stock cast manifold, but I do have a brand new cast manifold. You can tell it's never been ran. There's no soot or nothing inside of it. Brand new. So I am going to have to cut this off because I'm going to weld a V-band on it. I'll actually probably weld a little extension pipe on it and then a V-band. But as you can tell, compared to the old one, like it lines up way better than the one that's currently on it, where the exit is actually back here. So this will help keep it away from the fuel lines. I didn't want to redo the fuel lines just for a header that I wasn't real fond of, and it's probably going to end up cracking just like that one did. So we're going to get this cut off, modify that, and then we'll get it test fit on here, and then we can rebuild the crossover pipe again. All right, so we did some cutting. I got that flange cut off. Only downfall to cutting the flange off on this manifold is this hole is not completely true, just because the collector is so close to where all the primaries join up. This section gets really bulky. So with that being said, I couldn't put just a straight piece of round pipe on it because there's a big gap there, and I don't want to just fill that up with filler because, well, I am going to MIG weld all this. I would normally TIG all this stuff. I'm kind of beat with this thing. Mainly this is taking way too long to get this motor back in here because of that one manifold cracking. It just put me in a position where I have to kind of refab some of the turbo kit. And I'm just being really impatient with it, and I want to drive this thing. So we're going to sloppy this thing up. I did have a little piece here. I kind of cut it on a bend to try and oblong that. And you can see there we got still just a little bitty gap there, but I would much rather build that up and fill that And then we'll just weld a V-band like this, straight on the end here. The angle's not really ideal. I will tack it up first, tack all that together, and then kind of see where that V-band lands. And then from there, we'll figure out if that's gonna work for us or not. I think it will. I think it'll be just fine. One thing about welding cast steel, you gotta heat it up. So we're gonna get our torch out here, and we're gonna heat this thing up and get it pretty warm before we weld it. That's gonna be our only saving grace of getting this thing to not crack, you know, where we welded it and stuff. But anyways, I'm gonna get paint off this, heat this up, clean it up with some acetone and stuff, and then we'll tack it together. And like I said, we'll climb underneath the truck, kind of test fit this manifold on there, and see if this V-band's gonna land in a good spot where it doesn't interfere with anything. Well, thought I was videoing that. Apparently I wasn't, but and I wanted to just tack this together, and I ended up just burning it all the way in. Not too bad for a little MIG weld action. The hole back here was a little bigger than I wanted it to be, so I doubled up on the weld back here. But it should all transition pretty well out that tube there. The only reason this is pretty wide is because this bung here. But as far as like the transition there, everything seemed pretty good still. You can't really see down in there, kind of, not really. But let this cool off. I will go ahead and test fit it on the truck, and then we'll figure out where I'm gonna weld this old V-band to. Probably end up doing it something like this. I don't want it to angle back too far. I don't know, we'll see. All right, so I got that all welded up on there. Not the prettiest, but shit'll run. I think that's my new motto, shit'll run. I probably should have like cut another piece out and like merged it and made it taper down a little nicer. But when it's in the truck and you're looking at it from up here, you're never gonna see it. And I'm even gonna run the heat shield on it too. But I'm gonna get this set in here, semi tightened up against the head, and then we're gonna test fit the V-band and try and see if we can figure out some way of plumbing this thing. Everything seems to be buttoned up without the, or with the exception of the radiator and the upper charge pipe. We're gonna go ahead and prime it up, make sure the motor's getting primed, make sure we got oil coming out of the turbo feed. We can bolt that down. And then I gotta go get a map sensor, plug a map sensor in, and we can try and start this thing up first time with the new motor.
There we go.
Huh?
It just started going.
Let's try it just a little bit more.
Yeah, you're good.
A mess on the turbo here.
Yeah.
That's the key. That's the real ticket here. Drip dry. You know, that way whenever you start it, it smokes a bunch. That's the ticket. Hey, good call. Good call, Troy. It's like, hey, we probably ought to look underneath this thing.
I've had some bad luck recently.
I'll bring that fucking bad juju over here.
Yeah, right? Oh, what is this?
That fucking tape got stuck to the top of it. Is it stuck? Oops. Alright, I gotta go rob the map sensor off the Mustang. Actually, I think I got one in the Mustang, I think. Where's that flashlight? Let's grab this turd. Damn it, I gotta plug the computer in. Son of a biscuit. I just unplugged it. Ow. Yay! right here you can tell that I've lost all audio. I was kind of under the assumption that whenever I changed my mic on this camera that was going to fix my audio issue, and I guess it was not. So right now I'm going to walk through the handheld and do all the things you do in the handheld before you start up a new engine. Going into your settings and setting cubic inch size and all that stuff. But I'm going to speed up through this, and you're going to see that even on my first startup, there is no audio here. And here we crank on it a little bit. It kind of hits once, dies, and then instantly prime the pump again, hit the key again, and the truck fires right up and pretty much idles at like 1100, 1200 RPM. Since we're not getting to hear this currently, I'm gonna cut in a clip right now of what it actually does sound like after it's all been buttoned up and everything's back together and running. So obviously the first startup audio was trash, but everything is back together. We still need to drive the truck and work out the tune and stuff on it, but I am gonna do a little startup for you here. Won't be too loud. I do have the garage doors closed now that it's dark out. Maybe I can open this door up, make this a little nicer on the camera. But you know, we primed everything up, checked for fuel leaks, no fuel leaks. Let it run for a second, didn't have any water leaks or nothing like that. But yeah, let's fire this thing up. It starts up pretty easy, considering I haven't done anything with the tune yet. Eat my words. There we go. That's really loud. Doesn't help that it's in the garage too, so it echoes in here really bad. We got for fuel pressure. 44 psi fuel pressure, 67, 68 pounds of oil pressure at idle. What are we like? 60 degrees IAT. That's what the tip is in the shop. I usually have about 60 degrees in here. Alright guys, so we got everything put back together, radiators in it, charge piping and stuff's back on. I do like that the you can't see the intercooler, you can still see the clamps and you can still see the bottom side of this pipe here, because the bottom side of this pipe that goes up to the throttle body is actually still just raw aluminum. Doesn't bother me that much, it just kind of takes your eye and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on down there? But you can't see the intercooler, which I really like. Well, yeah, everything's buttoned up. As you can see there, got a little smoke going out of it. I heat cycled it, get all the bubbles out of it, make sure I don't have any cooling leaks or anything like that. I'm gonna let it sit, let some of the air pockets come up out of it. Now it's been heated up and stuff, and I've got to run to the parts store, get fresh oil and filter. That way I can change it, put good oil in it. Like I said, I just like to heat cycle it a couple times, break down all the assembly lube and stuff from putting the motor together, and then we'll change it out again. We'll probably put maybe 500 miles on it and then change it out again, and then it should be good to go. But I did pull the SD card out of it, and I went through the tune on it and kind of cleaned it up how I wanted it. Should be good to go as far as being able to go out and drive it, start putting some miles on it, and start getting the fuel curve and the fueling and stuff sorted out in the tune. Boost knuckle is back together, and she is ready to rip. We got the cooling system, everything bled, trans fluid and everything's topped off. Yeah, she should be ready. We'll get this thing out. Oh, I did put I put the drag pack back on it. That way, whenever we get it out for a drive and we go to Mexico and make some test hits on its first drive, maybe we'll get a little bit of traction. I'm pretty sure the wastegate spring in this thing is probably a little too spicy for the street. So I am gonna need to swap that out, probably pull that out and put like a 10-pound spring in it, because we had it out with the 4.8, it was on like 14 pounds. And that was with exhaust leaks. So now it's probably gonna be more than 14 pounds. And that's probably gonna be just a little too spicy. So we'll try and put a 10-pound spring in it, make it a little safer to drive on the street. But that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I'm super pumped to have this new motor in it. Now I can stop worrying about this truck. You know, knowing I was gonna have to pull the motor out of this, put it into this and all that stuff. And then with the other projects and stuff I got around the shop, it's just a little overwhelming, a little daunting, and it kind of takes, you know, motivation out of me. Makes it hard for me to get down here, and during the week it's really hard to get down here anyways and work on it, especially when it's cold. You can't open the door, car's got to be inside, so then you're tripping over everything. It just makes for a pain. But hopefully the weather starts to come around and we'll get this thing out on a nice day, do a test drive. But that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Keep following along. Don't forget, comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Make sure you get all the notifications. Racing videos are coming soon. Fab videos are coming soon. Hopefully, when the weather starts to change, videos will get a little bit better. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one.